I think I should start by saying another big thank you to the guys from Grassroots Out and the fantastic work that they're doing. I place my trust in them to take us forward and campaign on hard on our behalf and ensure that we go on and win that referendum on the 23rd of June. Please put your hands together for Grassroots Out. So we know the date. 15 weeks to go. 15 weeks when we will take part in the new battle for Britain. It's going to be an opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to shape the future, to shape the century in which your children and your grandchildren will grow up. And what kind of Britain do you want for them? Do you want a Britain which is shackled to the slowest growing economic bloc on the planet? An organisation that has taken away our freedom and our democracy? Or do you want to pass on to them a Britain which is free, strong, democratic, rich, and one that we can all be proud of? I think we all know the answer. It's also going to be an opportunity to right the wrongs of 1975, when you were lied to by Ted Heath and Roy Jenkins and Jeremy Thorpe, who told you back then this was all about trade and nothing else. And when Tony Benn and Enoch Powell said, no, this is about harmonisation, this is about a pooling of sovereignty, they were painted as fantasists and crackpots. But they were telling the truth. They were right in 75. You were fooled. If people knew then that they were voting for an organisation which would have its own flag, its own anthem, its own parliament, would endeavour to have its own army in the future, an organisation that just wouldn't be made up of Western European states, but will bring in all of the ex-communist East, you would have voted against, and we wouldn't be stuck in this club. So we have an opportunity to right that wrong. And what is the European Union that we're in today? Well, it is a European Union that makes half of our laws. A European Union whereby the laws aren't made by the democratically elected representatives. They're made by a European Commission that meet in secret about a mile away from the European Parliament, advised by 2,000 working groups made up by the banks and big business and the corporates. That's how the laws are made, ladies and gentlemen. It's un-British, it's not good enough. And those politicians of the last century gave away something that was never theirs to give. They gave away our sovereignty and our democracy, and on June the 23rd, we're going to take it back. And at the moment, it's costing us £55 million every single day to be part of this undemocratic club. And yes, they give us around half of it back, but then they tell us how we can spend our own money. And they tell us that this is European money, but there's no such thing. And these buildings that you see in Liverpool and Manchester and Flint and Wrexham and Chester, which have signs on them saying this project was built with EU money, or we couldn't have built this building without the EU. It is a lie. It's your taxation. And where is the other half going? Well, it's building motorways in Romania and Bulgaria. It's built an underground system in Warsaw. It's built a sewage system in Budapest. I think we're right when we say that money is our taxation. It should be spent here on our schools, on our hospitals, because charity begins at home. And as it is a European Union that has ensured that we cannot control our own borders. Only yesterday we saw the disgraceful immigration figures. 323,000 people net came to this country last year. That is a city the size of Hull. And we know that this is driving down wages in working class communities. And it's not UKIP that's saying that. The Bank of England have confirmed that that is the case. Theresa May, probably the worst Home Secretary in the history of that office, says it's putting strains on schools, hospitals and public services. And what is she going to do about it? She backs the Remain side. It's insane, ladies and gentlemen, and it is not good enough. And another figure which came out yesterday is that 257,000 of those migrants came from within the European Union. Yet somehow, in the same year, 630,000 national insurance numbers were handed out. Now, I've done my maths. That is a difference of 373,000 people. Now, how you lose a city the size of Liverpool, I will never know. It's either gross incompetence or they are lying to you, ladies and gentlemen. And the one thing that is clear, if we want to control our borders, if we want that Australian points-based system, where if you've got the skills we need, come here and work, the only way we're going to get it is by leaving the European Union on June the 23rd. And we're going to hear lots of myths. Steve spoke about one before. I was on Any Questions last night, and the Labour representative kept on banging on about how we'd be like Norway if we left the European Union. We'd have to comply with all the rules and regulations, but at the same time, we wouldn't have a seat on the top table. Well, actually, Norway is the richest country per head in Europe, so it can't be that bad being Norwegian. But by the way, look, we are similar to Norway. We have oil, we have fish, although they can control their own fisheries, whilst we have to share it round with everyone else. But we are a lot different than Norway at the same time. We have a population of 65 million. They have a population of 5 million. They do the vast majority of their trade with the European Union. We do the vast majority of our trade with the rest of the globe. We are the 5th largest economy in the world. They need us more than we need them. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not like Norway, we are Britain. Actually, we are Great Britain. And we have links all over the globe to the Anglosphere, to another organisation which covers a quarter of the world's landmass, a quarter of the world's peoples, makes up around 20% of global trade. If we leave the European Union, we can reignite our links with our kith and our kin, and in fact the ones we shamelessly turned our back on in the 70s, we can reignite our links with our Commonwealth. This is our time. We've got 15 weeks. Let's get out, let's campaign hard, and let's ensure that June the 23rd this year is Independence Day. Now, but we have other elections that will take place in the meantime. Last week I was on Radio 5 Live, last Saturday morning, and the host of the show said, well, what's going to happen to UKIP? If you win the referendum, you've got everything that you want. You can disband. If you lose the referendum, then what is the point of UKIP? Well, let me tell you this. UKIP is not going anywhere. We're going from strength to strength. Do you really think we would disband a party that has 22 MEPs, an MP, 3 Lords, a member of the Northern Ireland Assembly, 500 councillors, 40,000 members, and in the last opinion poll was polling 17%? Ladies and gentlemen, we are a party on the up. We are not going anywhere. The second half of this decade is our time, and we're going to change this country forever. And I was on the Daily Politics yesterday, and Andrew Neil said to me, you know, you've got what you want, you've got your referendum, you should be just campaigning for the referendum. Why are you bothering with the assemblies and the Scottish Parliament? What utter nonsense. We are not a pressure group. We are not a single issue party. We are a fully fledged political party, and political parties don't just stand in elections, they win elections like we will win elections on May the 5th. We can win as many as 9 to 10 seats here in Wales, up to 4 in Northern Ireland, a couple in Scotland, maybe 3 in the London Assembly. We may have Police and Crime Commissioner candidates who are successfully elected. I'm sure that we're going to up our number of candidates on that day. But after the referendum, ladies and gentlemen, what kind of party do we want to see? Well, I want to see a party that campaigns on the issues that the other parties don't want to talk about. I want to see a party that says what it means and means what it says. I want to see a party that straight talks, tells it how it is, doesn't recoil, talks about issues like green subsidies, which are ensuring that poor people can't afford to pay their energy bills. I want us to say, we don't want to see any more of those ghastly windmills that you've got out there on the bay. I want us to be a party that says we shouldn't be ring-fencing foreign aid. We shouldn't be sending £25 million a day out to countries like China and India, who are richer than ourselves, when 9,000 of our own ex-servicemen last year were forced to sleep on the streets. It's a disgrace. It's not good enough. I want us to be a party that tackles the issue of postal vote on demand, which allows the Labour Party to fix elections up and down the country. I want us to stand up and say, if you apply for a postal vote, you must have a damn good reason to do so. You must either be in the armed forces, on the rigs, disabled, elderly, or can't get yourself to the voting booth. But you shouldn't have that on demand. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a democratic system now in this country which actually befits a banana republic because it allows parties to fix elections. And I want us to be a party that stands up for women's rights. I want us to be the party that actually has the courage to say the fact that nobody has gone to prison for female genital mutilation in this country, and it's been illegal for the past 25 years, is an utter disgrace, and it needs to be tackled. I want us to be the party that says that forced marriage, which is on the rise in certain communities, and polygamy has no place in Britain today. I want us to be the party that says there is no place for Sharia law or Sharia court anywhere in this country. And I want to be the party that says that no woman in this country should be forced to live life hidden behind a veil. And to top it all off, I'm actually going to support Theresa May on something. I want us to be the party that says that those paedophiles in Rotherham and in Rochdale deserve to be deported from our country. And I also want to be the party that stands up for working class people. There was another report out this week which I found startling. It showed that people who go to public school and Oxbridge are dominating this country now in a way that has not been seen since the interwar period. We have education at the moment by wealth and not ability. I want us to be the party that says every child that is born in this country has the right to a good education, has the same rights as everybody else. I want us to be the party of social mobility that allows working class kids to break themselves out of their communities. And the only way we will do this, the only way we will bring back true social mobility, is by putting a grammar school in every single town in this country. We have a window of opportunity. This is our time. We can go on and shake the political foundations on May the 5th, and I believe we will. Politics is on our ground at the moment. We have our referendum. So not only can we make great strides in the assemblies, parliaments and council chambers at the beginning of May, we can go on and put the great back into Britain on June the 23rd. Thank you very much, conference.